probably just blew the sound out of my microphone with that. Sorry. Like 9 o'clock at night, and my 9 to 5 work brain is so used to going to bed now, so I'm trying to keep myself awake to film this for all of you. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. I feel like every time I sit down I'm apologizing because I'm really good at like pumping out content and then taking a hiatus. I apologize, I said that wasn't gonna happen this year, but you know what? This is like the never-ending 2020, and the couple months I was on a break, there was no break in my life, just with YouTube. So today I want to catch you guys up to speed, and just like outside of YouTube with all the endeavors I've been on. I've had so much support, so thank you so much. I'm going to dive into all those. And I also just want to say thank you to my subscribers that were a little mighty group of people, especially, you know, compared to other channels that are more consistent than me. But I've had some people messaging me and just saying, you know, like, hey, when you're posting again, I have my post notifications on, I love when you upload. And that's awesome, because I think we all go through phases of like imposter syndrome and does anyone want to watch what I have to say? And I think I just need to remind myself that the whole reason I started YouTube 10 years ago is because I liked getting in front of the camera and just talking or doing music and not focusing so much on the numbers. So I have a lot to talk to you guys about because it's been a couple months. So first of all, the reason that I didn't post for so long, the number one reason, is because, as maybe many of you know, I compete in the Miss America organization. I have been competing in it for a decade now. Since I was 15, and I'm 24, so by the time I get done with my last year of eligibility, believe it or not, I'm to the point where after this next competition year, they will kick me out because I'm too old. Yes, I will have a quarter life crisis after that. That's fine. I still feel like mentally 17, so my brain hasn't really caught up with the fact that physically I'm 24. But nonetheless, I have been competing in that for almost a decade now. Anyone who has ever done a pageant of any sort, I've only ever done Miss America, so I can't speak for other systems. Oh my gosh, the preparation. It was just for like 3 months leading up to Miss Michigan, which was in the middle of June for Father's Day weekend, but you're there an entire week leading up before, you know, the final night when they crown the new Miss Michigan. It was 3 months of like, get done with my 9 to 5, work out every day, do a mock interview almost like every single day, which is just like a practice interview, because in Miss America you have a 10-minute private interview with judges. They can ask you whatever the heck they want. You know, most of us want to kind of have some kind of knowledge, base knowledge on everything we could be asked. So I had drafted like a 20-page, I still have it on my Google Drive, which will be good for this next year because I will have a lot of it already there, but I have like a 20-page political, social topics, question and answer, statistics, all that fun stuff. Then I was doing my talent rehearsal like almost every single day. It was so draining, and almost a whole month after Miss Michigan, I was exhausted, just burnt out. I didn't watch the news. I didn't want to pick up the camera. I barely even picked up my guitar to play music. I was just drained. I got everything unpacked and I was like, okay, need to unplug for an entire month. Here we are now. I'm starting to feel rejuvenated. I just competed in my first local pageant of 2021, which is technically the 2022 season. I was the first runner up there, so I got another one coming up in a couple of weeks. And as far as Miss Michigan goes, I'm really proud. I obviously would love to be Miss Michigan. That's been my dream since I was a little girl, and I've got one more year to try and fulfill that. No pressure, but I've been there now 5 times. In the first 3 I didn't place. The 4th year I was top 10, and this year I was the 4th runner-up. I made the top 5. So very surreal. Wow. So I had actually, after Miss Michigan, put out a post on my Instagram asking you guys if there was any questions or misconceptions you had that you wanted to talk about, or maybe advice if you want to get involved. I want to have a video talking about my 10-year experience, because to be honest, when I first started competing as a teenager, there was a period where I was like, I'm never going to do this again. I was a grump about it. I was very insecure, but through Miss America, the 10 years I've been in it, I've grown into the young woman I am. I don't think I'd be able to sit down and talk in front of this camera if it wasn't for constantly having interviews. Okay, I just got off the phone and I can't remember what I was saying, but I think I was talking about my video ideas to do with Miss America, something along those lines. Oh, and I've always wanted to do like a Miss Michigan diary, like a video diary throughout the almost year once you get crowned at a local till you go to state, of how I prepare. And then life happens, and it hasn't happened yet, but considering this is going to be my last year before I age out, I've got nothing to lose. So I'll probably do that. We'll see what happens at this next local. It's Miss Southwest Michigan. It's closed pageant, which means only girls who live in the area can compete. I am in that specific county of Michigan now with my new house. I'm over by the lake. So I'm very excited. And if you have any additional questions about Miss America, again, that's the only organization I've ever competed in. It is different than Miss USA. I love my Miss USA girls though, but I've only ever done Miss America. Drop your comments and questions down below and I will do an entire Q&A style video on that. Item number 2 on our agenda is I released another single. It is called The Outside. It is streaming everywhere. I'm so excited. It's been out for, what's today? I'm not even wearing my Apple Watch. Today is the 29th, so it's been out for 2 weeks. It's been very magical. It's been very surreal. Every time I record a new song, I'm like, this is my favorite song. I think every artist probably feels that way. I actually wrote this song a decade ago when I was in high school, and it was just experiencing like high school heartbreak. I know, very life shattering. Little did I know what would come in my life, what I would consider earth shattering at 24 compared to 14, but that, you know, my feelings were valid at that time. The Outside back then was a very sad breakup song ballad that was like 5 minutes long. I took it to my producer who I've been working with. I worked with him on my other single, Need You, that came out over Easter. Went to Belmont with him, a really cool guy. I would love to have him on my podcast. Oh, speaking of that, sorry, on a side note. Aside from the Champions for HD podcast, I do have the Championing Life podcast. I mentioned that in a previous video, but that is a podcast just about, you know, championing your life and what you're passionate about. Being an entrepreneur, which is more than just like starting your own, I don't know, like corporate business. I'm thinking like, you know, music, photography, videography, video editing. I want to have everyone from all trades, all specialties on the show to talk about, you know, how they've been able to do what they love. Our first guest was a bodybuilder, my former personal trainer. Literally just, it's so diverse. I want to do a whole episode, speaking of Miss America, about quote-unquote failure and rejection, which also kind of leads into the music industry, because, you know, that's also subjective on what is a failure, what is a success. So anyway, just a short little plug for that. But I was talking to my producer, who I would love to have on that podcast. I need to ask him about just doing a full deep dive with me about this song, and I told him, you know, I really want it to be more like a punk rock, pop rock song, speed it up, take all the sadness out and make it more of like an angsty song. Like, yeah, you broke my heart and I'm on the outside, but like, deuces, it's fine. I don't know. I love the early 2000s, like Avril Lavigne type style era. If you've been following me for about 10 years, my genres have shifted drastically. I grew up listening to so many different genres, so I love all different types of music, but I am like, I started very, very country, and then I was more country pop, and now I'm like pop rock. So it's fun. But I wanted it to have more of that Avril Lavigne type style, and he really hit the nail on the head. I'm really excited about it. It has been very well received. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. And there's a lyric video on my channel, so you can check that out if you want to hear it. Funny fact, YouTube copyright claimed it because they don't know it's my song, and I'm still trying to figure out how to dispute that. It's still up, but I can't monetize it, even though it's my song. Yeah, that's fun. YouTube's great. I am so excited. I have so many other songs I want to get out there. The goal initially I had in my mind was to do like a full album, like 10 songs, or even another EP extended play, like 5 songs. But it's just so different now because, well, A, I'm not a big artist. You know, Taylor Swift can tell anyone she's releasing. If she had a 20-track album, everyone would listen and eat it up. When you're a small artist, you're still trying to grow your following. So you really have to like put one song out at a time, promote the heck out of it, get the plays, get the streams, and then move on like one song at a time. So I'll probably release a song like every quarter and then just combine them into an EP or a smaller album. Still trying to figure that out, but I have a lot of songs on the list that I want to go through and record. So if you want to support, you can stream on all major streaming services, Apple, Spotify. I don't know if anyone goes anywhere else, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. We also have merch on ShelbyLentz.com. I'll link that below. It is for the Need You single and the Outside. So we've got merch for that. I need to buy myself some merch. It'd probably be really weird if I wore the Outside merch because Need You is just, it's a graphic design, but the Outside, that cover is my face. So it'd probably be a little weird wearing my own face. Third item of business. So just to recap, in January of 2020, I uploaded a video called My Journey with Huntington's Disease. And my thought process behind that was in 2020, that was 3 years since I had been diagnosed. My grandfather was diagnosed 2 years before me, so it had been 5 years since we had an official diagnosis in my family. My sister with juvenile Huntington's, Bree, was just like the day I made that video and I started editing it, I got a call that she was put on hospice in January 2020. When you get diagnosed with the disease and they tell you there's no cure, and for most people it's terminal, you know, your brain cells deteriorate, it's literally like grieving your former self who's naive to Huntington's. As far as you know, you're perfectly healthy, and one day if you decide to go through with the testing process, which is a long process, it's not like the flip of a switch, you go in and you get the results, but however, when you sit down and get those results, it's the flip of a paper and all of a sudden you're gene positive and your whole life changes. So for me, without a cure, at some point I will probably get to the point like my sister, not as quickly as she declined because she had juvenile Huntington's, which is much, much more aggressive. But they basically tell you there's no cure, and we can't tell you when you'll get sick, how badly you'll get sick, but at some point you will potentially lose your ability to think, process, losing your ability to walk, talk, eat like my sister did. So it's very scary, it's very traumatizing, and although I knew I wanted to know once I knew that that was a possibility, it didn't mean it was easy. It was very hard for me. When I got diagnosed, there really wasn't someone who sat down in front of a camera like that and just said, hey, here's my story, here's what I've experienced. So I was like, well, I'll do it. We'll see what happens. Maybe it'll help someone. But as of the last time I checked, 28,544 views. I just hoped maybe a few people would find it helpful, but not. I never imagined almost 30,000 people would have watched that by now. We did lose my sister Bree at 14 on Easter morning of 2020 to juvenile Huntington's. I had, you know, if you listen to my podcast, the Champions for HD podcast, I talk a lot about this. I had an episode on her birthday this year dedicated to losing her and grieving her and my thoughts and processing it, because it was our first birthday without her since she passed. You know, I can laugh, I can smile, and I definitely see more optimism in life than pessimism, but I also have to be realistic and, you know, tell people that it's a roller coaster. There's highs where like you feel amazing, you feel like I'm doing them justice, I'm living my life, and then there's those lows where it's, well, yeah, I'm living my life, but I was supposed to be living my life with them. It never ends. And I will never forget my mom, which it's so confusing. My parents divorced. I have a blended family. I talk about that in the video. So my mom is not Brianna's mom. Brianna's mom is my stepmother. So my mother, who has no direct connection to Huntington's aside from my sister who's at risk, Delaney, and myself, who she had with my dad who has Huntington's. They got divorced. My dad had Bree and my brother with my stepmother. So my mom was reflecting on me losing my sister. She said, when I lost your grandpa, my dad, to cancer, it's been over a decade and there's still days where it just hits me out of nowhere. It's never gonna go away. That's kind of scary. You learn to be at peace with it, but it's also scary to think about the fact that there's never going to be a day that you're fully okay without that person. But I try to have peace in knowing that she's in a better place and we're grieving down here more than she's grieving up there. Man, it's been an emotional year. It's probably been harder than the year that I got diagnosed. Losing her was harder than my own diagnosis. But with that, you guys know I love creativity. I love my music. I love writing. I saw a post in a Huntington's disease group talking about how there were no children's books about juvenile Huntington's to give to their kids to explain to them what it is, or what one of their, you know, someone going through it is going through, what that looks like. I wanted a way to honor Brianna and also address those needs. So I decided to write a children's book about my sister. It's her story, but it's a fictional setting because it's told by a boy who is fictional. Even though the boy himself is fictional, the boy represents all the people who Brianna impacted throughout her time that she was here. Even people who didn't know her physically, just knew her virtually. The boy is talking about this angel that he once knew, and you know, how she was always happy, always smiling despite hardships, and how she changed his life because when he was really struggling, she came to him at the park. Again, they're kids. Told him about juvenile Huntington's and how there's always something that you can find in every day to smile about, despite what hardships you're going through. And so this boy's life is literally changed just by Brianna, and he's reflecting in memory of her throughout this book. The details in it are, you know, very much true, just seeing her progress and going to the doctor, that initial diagnosis. So this is my very first children's book, but book in general. It's called Brave Brianna. We called Brianna Brave Brianna. She has a Brave Brianna Facebook page. I couldn't think of a better title. The subtitle is One Girl Smiled Her Way Through Huntington's Disease. It was about a 3-month process to write, illustrate, and distribute it. As of right now, we are only selling these on Amazon just because it's really easy. They ship worldwide. A lot of people are getting them within 24 hours. I don't have to facilitate having these like in my house and shipping them myself, buying hundreds of copies in bulk, because this is going through my nonprofit, Champions for HD. If you don't know about our nonprofit, we serve families who have Huntington's disease, also science and research, but we're primarily serving families. That's where a vast majority of our donations go to. The proceeds that we take after the manufacturing costs go back to the nonprofit. I've been amazed so far by the support. The illustrator did an amazing job. I mean, her favorite colors were pink and purple and blue. And I'm so happy. It took so long. Well, it felt like forever because I knew and I just didn't tell anybody. Yes, this is where she's talking to the little boy. It's amazing. I'm so excited. Our goal is to, at least in the state of Michigan where I am from, I would love to expand this further, but at least in the state of Michigan, to get it into libraries and schools. I'm donating some of my money into the fund. I have family that's donating into the fund. If you want to purchase a book and/or purchase a book to donate to a local library or school. It doesn't even have to be in the state of Michigan. That's just my goal because I live here. But if you want to do it wherever you're from, whatever state, country, that would be awesome. Buy one for yourself and buy a second one to donate to a local library or school. I just really think that it's important to not only raise awareness for juvenile Huntington's, but to let kids know that there's always a reason to keep on fighting and to continue smiling. Life can be hard, and my sister literally did smile through this entire journey. It's been a sad year, but it's also been a productive year. I'm really happy about this just because it'll live on forever, this story. Someone will be able to reflect on it well after I'm gone, our generation's gone. And that's really cool for me. So, wow, a lot is going on, guys. A lot is going on. Thank you so much just for all of your support, whether it's with my Miss America endeavors and dreams, my music, or, you know, all the stuff I'm doing with Champions for HD. I could not be where I'm at without your support. So thank you. If you want to find my music, my merchandise, you can visit shelbylentz.com. I'm gonna link everything I'm mentioning down below, so don't you worry. You can find me at Shelby_Lentz, L-E-N-T-Z, on all social media platforms. Champions for HD, we have the podcast, we have our website, championsforhd.org. You can get the book on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and type in Brave Brianna, it'll pop up. I also have it listed on the Champions for HD website underneath shop. There's a link that will take you to Amazon. Check out the Championing Life podcast because we do have new episodes coming, and I have like 12 people I'm gonna reach out to try and get content going again. Thank you guys so much for your support. I'm so grateful to be here. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one.